The Cutter, from the Consensus Threads. Part 1 https://www.reddit.com/r/scarestories/comments/1g9i3odd/my_2_many_questions/. Part 2. To live in consensus is to live in harmony. I have the sound turned up on my terminal while I'm in the garden. Beautiful sun, fertile soil, and a kind word every 60 seconds. Is that Beethoven playing underneath today? Does it matter? My grandfather taught me how to keep this garden. My grandfather taught me everything a man should know. My father's hand never touched them. He was stationed somewhere else. I consider myself lucky that I was placed with my grandfather instead of him or my mother. You can't pick who gave you life, but you can sure pick how you live it. They chose wrong. I laugh to myself. Boy, did they ever. To love consensus is to love humanity. The wind is just barely blowing this afternoon. I look down at the city, only slightly more perfect than the nature that separates my home from its limits. I go about snipping here and there. I'm avoiding the beautiful bloom in the middle of the bush. It's standing half an inch above the bush. It's gorgeous. It just opened this morning and I missed it, but I'm here now. There's no other bloom like it. Nothing can even compare to how perfect it is. It dances ever so slightly in the wind. I can't take credit for it. It's an outlier. A quick shoot up and a howdy do. I get lost in it for how long? Just staring. Just a simple man staring at a rose moving in the wind. Life is perfect, because that's how life is supposed to be. It was meant to be lived a certain way. It took us so long to figure that out. To praise consensus is to praise yourself. That heavenly voice. I have to answer it. Indeed it is. Praise consensus. I feel the cutters in my hand. I remember my grandfather's rules. He was always right. I give myself just a moment longer to take it in, and finally I take a deep breath, but before I can move, my terminal rings. Beethoven is silenced. Darn right he is. I log in and see the report. It looks as though I must report early tonight. A mother running with her daughter. She murdered a school teacher for simply doing her duties. I check all of her stats. She's not very bright. She tried to have a child for years. I understand. I don't agree, but I understand. I see the flag on her daughter's termination letter. I shake my head and turn the live stream back on. Consensus is survival. Consensus is correct. Amen. A 32-year-old woman siding with corruption over everything good in life. I'll make her see her error. It almost always comes down to one talk, one session, and they see what they've done. I'm hoping I only have to make one example today. Before I go to put on my uniform, I make the necessary adjustments. I cut the stem of the rose at the height of the rest of the bush and toss the bloom in the yard rubbish.